Hello, this is Don,
And this is Gina with Focused Healthy Family.
and today we're looking back over the best of 2025.
So, over the course of the next week, we're going to share with you some of our favorite podcasts, some of the ones most enjoyed by others. And we want to wish everyone a happy holiday, a happy healthy season as we close out 2025 and launch into the new year. So, sit back, enjoy our show. Please share this with others. We're glad you've been here on this journey with us.
Number 172, Reconnecting After 60. And that one we talked about exercise and connecting up with other people at that we may have gotten away from.
Sounds like one for me to put in my time capsule to open in 4 years, Don.
So we got the opportunity to go see a friend of mine,
When you
not very
grew,
far.
someone you grew up with who
Yeah,
in Missouri and was living locally and invited us to go there for dinner.
and it weren't far from here, so we were able to come up. And when we got there, they said, "Well, we're just going to go to the club for today."
Dinner.
Yeah, for dinner at the club, and walked in, and they knew everybody in there. It feels like, and it just kind of gave us the idea that we got to this age again where we could be living in the same place that like your mom and dad did with the senior living
So
kind of.
it was a 55 plus community that they lived in. We didn't realize that the neighborhood they lived in was a 55 plus because your friend's the same age as you, which is 65 plus. This was a couple years ago. So in your early 60s. And yeah, my parents had lived in a 55 plus community for a long time. And so here we are having dinner with the friends and they're showing us around, telling how cool it is, showing us all the amenities and the things we could do. And it was just, I mean, it was a nice place, but it was just kind of funny because it just felt like that was my parents' thing. It wasn't our thing. I don't know what else you remember about it, Tom.
Well, it just I remember Greg, they knew kind of knew the menu. They like I said, he walked through like he was a celebrity, Hey, how you doing? Talk. He'd step over and talk to somebody here, and step over and talk to somebody here, and then the waiters would come. They knew him. Um, it was a fun time. We had a good time there. It's like I say that just kind of gave us that growing older feeling of
Well,
you
and you
know.
invite your friends to dinner and other people are saying, are you interested in here? Like it's like a community kind of thing. And so, yeah, I mean, we've reached that age where we can live in a 55 plus community. We were even at that age before I was 55 because only one spouse typically has to be 55 and over.
That's right, yeah.
And yeah, you kind of wake up one day and go, wow, that's me. Well, hello, this is Gina
And this is Don.
with Focused Healthy Family. And this is podcast number 172, getting close to 200. Today, we're talking about socializing after 60.
And we'll start out with just a tip for you here. Uh, and what I looked this up, came from betteraging.com. And one of the first tips they gave was keep the end goal in mind. And when we're talking about, moving ahead, doing things, exercising, things like that, we want to always keep that idea in mind. This is what they'll read here is this is somewhat like a battle to overcome negative thinking. It's easier to accomplish something if you keep your mind on the end goal and the benefits of moving. That can include more money in your pocket, living closer to loved ones, and having an easier to maintain home. While the process can seem challenging at times, keeping in mind what you plan to accomplish can get you through the tough moments. And, we're talking today about exercise and doing, getting socialized. And this is talking a little bit about moving, but it's even when you get out of moving and you're ready to get back into a life and socialize, you got to keep the end thoughts in mind for yourself.
Um, when I say end thoughts, I'm talking about older people. I mean,
Well, yeah, that's
What's our end goal?
end goal.
To
Yes,
not regret things in our life, to have lived a happy life, to do our bucket list. But yeah, what's the goal in mind, I guess. Yeah, I just found that ironic.
a couple of jokes for you here. The first one, old woman sitting at a bar when an older gentleman sits down beside her. So, he says, do I come here often? I thought that was hilarious. Um, uh,
That was
the,
good.
the next one, she said, so I decided to take an aerobics class for seniors. I bent, twisted, gyrated, jumped up and down, and perspired for an hour. But by the time I got my leotards on, the class was already over.
So here we are.
So I was thinking about it today because we've talked with, we've had a couple of uh, senior assisted living facility people on and talking about, and they talk about people don't realize until they get to assisted living how much more socialization they can get from that. When you're living on your own, even here, we haven't had a chance to really get involved with neighbors and kind of get involved with this community. And so you don't get as much in living on your own. So were you going to say something?
Yeah.
You can
Turn,
spit
my
it
turn.
out.
So we've talked about aging in place, and how awesome it is if someone can continue living where they are, and yet if they're not driving, if they can't get out and do things, there's sensory deprivation that happens. And are they getting interactions with people and not just your visits, if you live close or something, but really having a sense of community and spirit. And even someone who's not typically, some people say, oh, I'm kind of a loner, or I like to be by myself. Well, we all have kind of a social nature about us, and there's different degrees of getting involved in a community. I know just speaking quickly of my mom's experience in the 55 plus community, it could be isolating when you're all in separate houses and have your own separate things going on, versus now she's at an independent living apartment, and the hall's going to do an activity. And I was telling our daughter, and she's like, wow, it's like Grammy's in college. And a lot of people are widowed, or their spouse has an illness or different issues, or and just having that camaraderie, we're creating a community, because unfortunately the nuclear family, we're spread out. We often don't live really close to our parents, our children, our siblings, or the family's not nearly as big as it used to be to have the support of other people. And so, what else do you have to say, Don? Kind of took off with that.
Well, I mean, she talks about going a lot of trips to things, the stores to different things which is good. But what I was when I thought about it, I kind of wanted to look up some different ideas that you could do to help you socialize. And I was able to come across this place. It's by Healthline Medical. Um, and here they talk about 12 ways to expand your social life after 50. Now we push it to 60, but that's first one talks about getting involved with others. So getting out there, getting yourself involved with other people as you're doing your exercises or doing your work. You pull other people into it, can help you get yourself the beginning of it.
Okay.
You can add in anytime you want.
No, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Getting other people involved with you, like how do you get other people involved with you?
Well, it says here, people don't talk about social benefits of exercise quite as much as physical and cognitive benefits, but they should. So many different forms of exercise that involve other people, including dance, team sports, solo sports, you do alongside others. Having been shown trusted source to help people feel a sense of belonging and encourage social bonding.
Okay, so you're talking about exercise. Now it makes sense. Um, yeah, I thought about that myself, working out at the gym we belong to, the YMCA, and there's exercise classes. And I've kind of become a solitude exerciser, but I'm like, it would be nice to be in a class and have that sense of, we're here together, we're all have the same end goal, like you talked about. And yeah, it is an opportunity to connect with other people, and it does utilize exercises our brain, which as we're aging, we want to keep that as active as our body to keep um, our cognitive skills functioning.
And you're stepping one step ahead because number two is take a class. And and like you said, in integrating with other people, and it's also fun. It's something to enliven the spirit there too. So number three is schedule daily hangouts. They talk about finding places to um, meet up with people, get get people involved. They talk about, well, let's read it.
Okay.
So you can quickly start to feel socially isolated if you live alone or don't have much time to socialize with others. If you're in this situation, try making conscious effort to schedule social dates with others. If you can't get out of the house or whatever reason, and don't feel like it, consider checking in daily with friends or families by phone. They talk about also getting online, calling a loved one, having coffee with them, or going to a dog park to chat with other dog lovers, all healthy social time.
I go to the park without my dog. Would that be weird?
Yes, just pretend, just have a leash and pretend like,
Yeah, my dog's the one over there.
okay.
So, in talking about taking classes, I talk to residents I work with, and doing puzzles and games is good for the mind. So I have people tell me, yeah, I do my word search. I do it every day. And it's like, which is great. And it's good to do something new. Take a class to learn a new skill, do a different kind of puzzle than you've been doing, because to really challenge our brain, it's got to be kind of new learning and a new activity. So consider learning a new game, whether it's online, a puzzle book, playing a game with family. Um, it, you
Well,
know,
you could blend that into, you could do it online. You can also get somebody to join you online to play. Like I know Scrabble. That's the only thing I know, but you can.
yeah, you
Uh,
can connect with other people, and you can connect randomly with other people to play an online game, or there are games where you can play together in person.
well, you
Jackbox
can.
games. We do this
Oh
as a
yeah,
family. It's a fun.
we haven't
You have
done
to
that in a while.
purchase the games, but you host it, and we've done it, niece and nephew out in California, brother up in Pennsylvania, my son at his house, us here, and we go on Zoom together and we're all playing the same game together. And yeah, it's quite a way to connect socially with people. And if you enjoy different kinds of games,
Well, and you can bring it home too. It doesn't always have to be online. It can be you can invite somebody to the house and play Monopoly. You could play anything. You could play Jackbox with people at your home too.
yeah,
So
you can play it together. So yeah, there's so many different kinds of ways, and just there's Zoom, there's I've been using Marco Polo app, which is an app where you record yourself video and voice, and then other people can listen when they're able to, but they can also watch it live, and so they can give thumbs up and hearts. So it's a little more than just texting someone, having the video message, if you, it's it's less invasive than a phone call if maybe they're sending the message at a time when I can't, talk to them directly. There's different kinds of platforms out there for us to make better connections. And yeah, a good old fashioned phone call, like just to be able to
it'll,
talk to someone.
I like that. No. Um, the next one is using social media to text and stay in touch with people. So,
Just
you
what
know,
we pretty much just talked about.
yeah, and I mean, because you think about socialization is getting together and being around people, but it's also connecting, keeping in contact and connecting with other people. Um, they do mention here to also be very careful of your privacy and all of that for seniors and older. Um, Plan transportation ahead. I thought that was an interesting one. Knowing, one, how you're going to get together with others, how you're going to get out, and they actually show a couple of different options here. Of course, always public transportation, but there's also what they call paratransit services. They're free services that with reservations through public transport companies for people who can't easily access public transport services. And then, of course, private rides. If you have Uber, and what's the other one?
Lyft.
Lyft. Yeah, that's the
Yeah, a
other.
lot of communities have senior transportation services that, um, yeah, kind of provide a little extra help helping someone get on a van, or whether they need a lift, if they're in a motorized scooter because they can't walk a distance. There are lots of different options out there. If you're in a smaller town or community, that could be more challenging. Um, and finding out what is in your area, what is available.
The next one is volunteering, and I get it. I can always tell. My funniest joke was when I was a young kid. My great aunt, her name was Aunt Zita, and she was in her mid 90s, and she was volunteering at I think that at that point it was a nursing facility, is all it was. But she'd always say, "I'm going in and helping those old folks." But it is a good idea to get out and volunteer. There's all kinds of different things you can volunteer for, and it gets you out there again to socialize, but it also helps the community, which is a very important part of socialization too.
Yeah, and there's so many different avenues. You can volunteer at a hospital, you could volunteer possibly at a school, a rec center, a library, a lot of different places depending on your interests.
Number seven is meeting people with diverse settings. Um, not, not always staying in your exact uh, age frame, your exact racial, I guess, there's a lot of different ways of being able to meet people in diverse location.
Okay, kind of stepping outside your comfort zone and doing something. Um,
Well, and it also gets you in, it goes back to like volunteering. It goes back to these different things that it puts you in places that you've never been before.
mhm.
Like they talk about here, new sports or hobbies, joining a book club, um, just get you into places like I say you may not have been in before.
Mhm.
All right, invite others into your social activities. So being it, this is where it talks about reaching out to others. Whether you know them or not. Sometimes just asking if they could join you um, in whatever you've got going on. And they talk about making sure to could you carpool with someone instead of commuting alone? Could you chat with a friend on a phone while you cook? Could you invite someone new to join your exercise regimen? Could you invite a friend to join you for a movie night? So it's kind of going back in days before you were married and you had to go on dates. You had to ask somebody to do something, with you. But that, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think, the way our culture is currently and with social media and just how busy we are, we can become isolated. We moved to a new neighborhood. We met some people when we moved here. We met people at the yard sale and Halloween, but people are busy doing their own things. And reaching beyond that, it does take effort as we get older and we're, raising our kids, whatever, taking care of our parents. We're not, we go exercise and we just want to go, we got 30 minutes, we do our workout and we're done. And so making that extra effort to connect with other people, because especially now before we retire and, building up that community, because otherwise we're busy running around and then all of a sudden we're retired and we don't like where are my friends? Not that you can't then make connections at that point as well, but thinking about that, I'm thinking about it myself because, yeah, how many social connections?
Well, and you think about too is that we a lot of us are still working. Doggy, doggy. Sorry.
Dog interrupted.
Doggy was interrupting there. But a lot of us are still working and being able to have the time to do this. And I kind of comes to a point of having to make some time to do it, I guess.
Yeah, really, scheduling it, scheduling the time, even if you're doing something by yourself, go window shopping somewhere. You can talk to the people at the local stores, you can connect with people kind of more informally and, getting out. Um, uh, I enjoy talking with strangers and it can be kind of a fun way to get out and make some connections with people without a whole lot of commitment.
Well, the next one is a tough one. Swap solo online and TV time for social activities. We all kind of get into a little bit of a rut of sitting down because we're tired by the end of the day sometimes and not getting out, taking a walk, getting outside, doing different things.
There's so many TV shows now, so many options. I heard someone on the radio, they were like, "You haven't watched Stranger Things yet?" And she's like, "I have so many things on my list. I haven't gotten to that yet." And yeah, it's very easy. You can watch on your phone, you can watch it anywhere, anytime. Um,
It's kind of that binge thing that goes on,
yeah, and because you have access to multiple shows in a row, it's not like back in the good old days where
yeah,
I was
well,
talking with,
everything went off at a certain point, you didn't,
oh, well, you're talking about when way back,
yeah,
but
it is way
even
back.
like before VCRs, you had to watch it when it aired. Like I remember around Thanksgiving, Sound of Music would be on, and it's like we watched it every year because they aired it at that time, before we had the ability to just watch it whenever we wanted. Um, so there's pros and cons, obviously, because now we're not like this is a funny story. My best friend in high school. So this was the mid 80s. And I guess her parents, I mean, VCRs were around then, but we'd before either of us was driving or had a car and we wanted a ride to the mall. It's typically what we did. Her parents, it would depend on what show they were watching. And we couldn't take us if it was in the middle of one of their favorite shows. And I was just thinking back to that and how kind of funny that is.
Well, you
Um,
also, I'm sorry, go ahead. Well, you talk about, there was a time you talk about this story about your mom and dad that were watching TV and didn't come pick you up. Weren't they, were they watching TV when it was happening? I want to say they were.
oh, well, I was in a car accident week after I got my license.
No, you talk
No,
about another time when they missed picking you up.
there were a couple times. I'm not sure how much TV
TV
had to do.
shows might have been
I'm
involved.
not
Who
sure how
knows?
much TV had to do with it or not, but maybe. I remember when I friend from church brought me home because I was going to church when I was in that accident. I remember they were sitting in the living room with the TV on, hadn't somehow heard the phone call from the police officer because I didn't have a cell phone. It was 1987.
Well, number 10 is adopt a pet. So it's not like meeting somebody in person, but it is a way. Well, one, if you want to go to the dog park, you have something to take with you and you have a conversation piece at the same time. But it also is it's a companion. It's
I
somebody
think
to.
that's a really good idea. I think we should adopt more pets. There,
Anyway,
there
the
are
next one.
kittens. I know kittens without homes, and it would help me
I don't want
socially
kittens. I
to
don't want
adopt
kittens.
more kittens.
We can have a dog.
You want another dog?
Yeah. I don't know if right now
Don't you
whether
remember when we got the second dog? It was like one more dog was like five more dogs. It was a lot more work.
anyway, let's move on to the next one. Uh, visit your local community center. We have some here, and they have a lot of different activities to get people involved. They also feed people so that if it's a senior that's having some food issues that they can't always afford enough food, your community centers a lot of times will do that.
And there are like we live where there's a senior center, there's multiple senior centers in the county and surrounding areas, but also some churches provide this. I remember when our older daughter did Girl Scouts and a certain week of the month, they did a senior event community and they provided a meal and an activity. We had to use a different space in the church for when they did that. And so checking out what there is in your area, because maybe if you're in a small community or where your loved one lives in a small community and you're concerned about them, there might be a local church or other organization that provides weekly or monthly a meal event activity.
Well, and the last one is about getting professional help. You know, I've run into in my own practice run into a lot of patients that are alone that they came to the practice and that was their best opportunity to talk to somebody, um, and it's not a good place. And so finding professional help that can help you through that loneliness. They talk here about starting with your local doctor or a local priest, local minister, whatever, to get started. And you can also probably find some opportunities for free services too if you can't afford it. But it doesn't hurt to find somebody to talk with to be able to.
Whether it's a counselor or an EFT practitioner or, some other, that would be interesting to research what's out there for like senior
Yeah.
connection community. I know there's hotlines for, mental health issues and other support lines for support like that. Yeah, something to research. My mind's off on a tangent now. But yeah, seek help because you don't have to be clinically depressed or have a specific disorder. To work with a therapist, a counselor, I highly recommend a well-qualified EFT practitioner. That's my choice of therapy. And not my husband, who is an amazing practitioner, but um, she's actually a good friend of mine. I've worked with two different people closely. Yeah, because we need to process things that we're dealing with. And
Well, I can read a little bit of a takeaway that they put on here at the end of this. Getting social on a daily basis is crucial for people of all ages and has many health benefits. If you're in a transition period, such as retirement or adult kids leaving home, then now is the time to start forming new habits and expanding your social circles. Maintaining strong social connections will help you live a long and happy life. That was it. And
so
I
we hope,
can I'll try to post this up on
sure, if not
the
the
link
link
to it.
to it.
Yeah.
And if you have other resources, things that we've talked about here today, please reach out. Let us know. We are always looking for people to interview. Even if you're not an expert in the area, but you're familiar with something, even having you on for part of a podcast to talk about it or connecting us with other people. We love doing interviews and are working to set up other interviews to have on for future episodes.
So that's our podcast for today, and we hope you enjoyed it. We would love to hear from you if you're wherever you're coming from, if you're listening to it. Make sure to comment on it. We'd love to comment so that we can take those and draw from and send more information out for you. Make sure to like us if you can. You can find out more about what Gina and I do. Gina's we're hoping to get the OT ask the OT out with some different information for seniors. I have my every week, I should say, I have my Tuesday at 7 o'clock. I do a tapping process, a group process. It's free to anybody
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
did I not say that? Just wanted to make sure I was saying it the right stuff.
No, I just wanted to confirm 7 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time.
That's right. Yes. You can find out about what Gina and I do, and we've done a lot of past interviews and different information about seniors and the caretaking. You can find it all at www.focusedhealthyfamily.com. You can find us on Facebook at Focused Healthy Family, Instagram at Focused Healthy Family 1, YouTube at Focused Healthy Family. And again, join us every Thursday when these podcasts go out. You can find it at focusedhealthyfamilypodcast.com. And remember, how you treat your children and your loved ones today shapes their future and yours.